Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. For this video, I have two topics. The first one, I will tell you, if you live in the West, I will tell you the price for your freedom. That is the price you have to pay so Putin doesn't subjugate you. According to the Western media, that's what's next. So I will have a price, an exact number of how much you guys, if you live in Europe and probably North America and the Western world, how they call it, how much you have to pay in order for the government to hire some arms manufacturing companies to produce some weapons for your sons and daughters in case Putin decides to, and he's kind of right there, decides to invade you, you have to fight. How much that is? Hey, by the way, the government will take that money not voluntarily. They will tell you how much you have to pay. And if you don't pay, they will send some people with guns and arrest you and they put you in jail. So freedom if you pay, freedom if you don't pay, not. You know what I mean? So if you don't pay, the Russians will get you. If you don't pay, the government will get you. So which one is going to get you? You have to pay. Pay out. Who is going to pay? Putin for not or the government? Thugs. So that's the first topic. I will give you the exact number. Now the second topic has to do with this. But before I go there, which is some acts of terrorism conducted by we don't know whom. But my first question is this. Do you think that the West, some Western countries, that's the correct word, not the West, some Western countries are engaged in conducting terrorist activities against the Russians. That is, attacking Russian infrastructure, civilian or commercial vessels. Do you think let's say, the American special forces are blowing up some Russian, tankers in the Mediterranean or in the North Sea or somewhere? Do you think they do it? Because the next question is, who do you think was involved in Nord Stream 2 pipeline's terrorist attack? Do you have a suspect? Now, it's normal that the enemy of the guys who get attacked should be the prime suspect. So what happened? The Russian so-called shadow fleet, which is banned, is under sanctions by the good people. 3 more times and I'm going to be 1,000 times flying away from here. Those guys started having some explosions, have been having explosions. So some of these vessels, only these vessels, associated, I want to keep it like this, okay, associated with the Russian shadow fleet, started having all kind of explosions. And no other vessels, Japanese vessels, American vessels, unless the Houthis are at it, when I know Zimbabwean vessels, tankers get blown up. Only these Russian shadow fleet vessels, do you think, could make some imbeciles think that, or have a gut feeling that maybe it's the enemies of the Russians who do this? It's a pattern. It hasn't been only one time. So we're going to discuss this because this kind of explosion in the Mediterranean Sea occurred with one of these shadow fleet, Russian shadow fleet. So let's start with the first one, the price for your freedom and your children and your grandchildren that you will not have. European Pravda. Tuesday, 1st of July, 2025. How much must Europe spend to stop Putin? Now, first, let's get with the semantics. How much must? You must do this. Europe you have to spend money, okay? You can't use ideology, money, to stop Putin. That's a fact that Putin must be stopped because he is rolling over Beethoven, okay? So let's see how much you have to pay. You have to pay. Last week, members of the supervisory board of the Yalta European Strategy visited Kiev last week after an unprecedented Russian drone attack destroyed residential buildings. So there you go. This is the foundation, the basis on which you must, because Putin is coming over. Right here, this is the evidence, right there. That's it. Residential buildings, they attacked the Russian drones. Got it? Got it. Their conclusion from speaking to officials, experts, and military leaders, you see, now they get the authority figures, the experience, the professionals. There is, not could, might, a clear and imminent danger for Europe if, and here is, they give you the solution. They don't act more decisively now. So in the first two paragraph, you understand that these guys are criminals. They made a point. The Russians are right here. Then they find out we have experts, which they know what they're talking about. You don't know. Let them tell you. There is a clear, reached the conclusion based on that. There is a clear and imminent danger for the entire Europe, all of them, including Hungary and Slovakia, if the entire Europe doesn't act more decisively, and they tell you the timeline. Now, what the hell do you want out of this? This would put over 500 million European citizens at risk. The Kremlin wants to change borders beyond Ukraine in its attempt to restore its spheres of influence. Got it? That's a fact these experts are telling you. So, how much is it? And they say right here, so instead of $40 billion US dollars that they pay right now, 40 billion, until now, Europe would have to provide, here is the price tag, between 110 and 120 billion dollars a year. A year of war cost Ukraine around 100 billion dollars. So Ukraine pays this money. That's what they say. So you got it? This is how much you have to pay, because they already made the point in the first two paragraphs. Got that? Get ready. They're going to charge you. Who's going to win? The defenders. The point is this, my friends. Some people want control and money. Doesn't matter the order. The control is provided by the government because they go with the scare tactics. The weaklings in our society, which is the majority of our society, are going to go for it as they went with the masks and the, you know what I mean? They will do it. So they will definitely outvote you again. Jesus Christ. When you're going to vote, when you're going to be allowed to vote, but someone else is going to count the votes, obviously. And that's it. And then they, the government, mommy and daddy, they will protect you, because some people, adults in our society, still need mommy and daddy. Why? They're weaklings. They're weak. That's why. They need protection. There you go. They can say, no, you know what? No. If I'm not good, or let's put it this way, I should get as much as I deserve based on my abilities. So if I don't practice and I don't fight, I could not expect to be a world champion or a European champion or a, city champion. So I can't just pray and hope someone else is going to give me that trophy. So I have to do it again with a mental attitude. If I don't learn, I can't graduate this or graduate that. And if I'm not disciplined enough, you need qualities. You have to hone, you have to develop those qualities. That's how life. Instead, some people say, give me, make me, give me. No, you are the owner of your own destiny. There's nothing else. Anything that comes to help you, help you, that is your weakness. That means you need help. If you need help, that means you can't do something on your own. Bottom line. So in here, you will agree to give your money, even if you don't, they will take it anyway, to a entity, your government. They would distribute your money to their guys. You know, the campaign donors and all that. There you have it. So this is the price, between 110 to 120 billion dollars. Next. This is New Voice of Ukraine from July 1st, 2025. Explosion in the Mediterranean. It just happen every day, you know. You let me know when it was the last time when you heard this kind of explosion occurring, aside from the Red Sea, when the Houthis are doing shit. You tell me. When was the last time you heard? And if you tell me, give me 2, Give me 3, and you will not be able to give me because I'm all eyes and ears and smell, and I don't see any. I haven't seen any. But hey, let's read this article. Ukraine's AGR details fire aboard Russian Shadow Fleet tanker. Photos. So what happened? The Vilamura tanker, which suffered an explosion in its engine room, had been repeatedly used to illegally transport petroleum products from Russian ports in violation of sanctions. So, first, again, the first paragraph. So, it transports illegally just because some countries, not from United Nations order, some countries decided that if it floats illegally. Therefore, we impose sanctions. So some countries decided that this tanker, who belongs to another country, should not be floating and doing business because some countries, a few, said, we say you can't do business. We say you can't. That's how it is illegal. It was not United Nations, the only body actually that should regulate this. No, it's a few countries. And under what kind of authorities those countries can do that? They can do that. Okay, and then what are you going to do about it? These guys are going to float their little things anyway. In the Baltic Sea, they won't do it. You know why? Because the Russians said we have our military protecting our vessels, at least in the Gulf of Finland, so-called, by St. Petersburg. Go and check it out. So let's see how many these guys did. How many before? The blast occurred on June 27 while the vessel was en route from the Libyan port of Zuetina, about 150 kilometers northeast of Libya's territorial waters. The tanker, flying the flag of Marshall Islands, was reportedly carrying at least 1 million barrels of crude oil. Now, they don't really carry, they didn't hit it in the wrong spot. If they would hit it in the wrong spot, I think it was hit. Gut feelings, okay? Just gut feelings. If it would have hit it in the wrong spot, could be a spillage, and then you get all those guys, the greens, and oh my god, the environment, which, by the way, they don't care about. Just so you know. It's about money and power, again. It's for you to be environmentally, how do you call it? Again, with one hand, I can't help it. Okay, I have to stop this. Environmentally conscious, but they don't care. They don't care. It's all about getting your money for something. Right here, Vilamura has repeatedly been used to transport oil products from ports of the aggressor state, Russia. For example, in April 2025, okay, this is where it is, my friends. They show this is Greece right here, and this is going pick-pock from the African from African continent to Greece, right there. Vilamura and Doha Summit. This another one? Oh my God. All right. On June, and they tell you, the imbeciles, on June 17, another tanker in Russia's so-called shadow fleet, the Adalin, caught fire in the Gulf of Oman, between Oman and Iran, after colliding with the Front Eagle vessel. These are not the only ones. I know more than that, my friends. And here, this is another example. This is from February 10th, from Newsweek. Explosions hit Russia Shadow Fleet tanker docked near Putin's home city in St. Petersburg, right? So right there. Explosions were reported on board of oil tanker believed to be used by Russia's Shadow Fleet docked in Ust-Luga in northwest Russia, near President Putin's home city of St. Petersburg. Again, my friends, this is an explosion again. Oh, I got another one. Kiev Independent, right there. This is again, they tell us the same right here. Explosion on oil tanker at Russian port prompts investigation. February 9th. That's the same one as the one I mentioned. But hey, we got this one right here. Explosions rock Putin Shadow Fleet tanker off Italy coast. So the other one was by, this is right here. This is from February 18th. So it was the Putin in Putin's yard, the other one off the coast of Italy, the other one in the Mediterranean, the other one in Oman. Hey, what's going on here? Isn't this a pattern? And you tell me how many, I know, French, if they have any, vessels were blown up. Who do you think does this? Do you think the Ukrainians? I don't think the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians can't do that. Not can't. It's highly, very high likely possible that they can do that. Or highly Impossible, I'm sorry. So what do you think? Let's read the other one, which these guys are very happy to report. Tanker carrying million barrel of oil suffers explosion after calling at Russian port. This is, again, 30th. So what do you think? Looking at the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 pipelines, I think it's highly likely that these guys are at it. Oh, the cat is moving around. So, yeah, thank you very much. Your big butt right there. Good job. Go, meow meow. All right, so that's what it is, my friends. First, these guys are engaged in this kind of acts, I think. And you know how we're going to find out? Give it a few years. And they will say it. They will say it. Nonchalantly, the same with the Nord Stream 2 pipelines. They will laugh about it. Because we're going to be kind of friends by then. Well, you know, it's like you laugh with a victim of rape. I don't think the victim will laugh, but you or whomever, the perpetrator will. So what would you do with that perpetrator? If you can, to punish that perpetrator would be, you know, a good thing. If you can't, he's going to do it again and again and again. Remember, 110 to 120 billion dollars, your freedom. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.